Hi friends, this is Nagajyoti working as an assistant professor in Department of ECE. So in this session, let us discuss about what is meant by sequential circuit and what are the different types of sequential circuits. So as we know that a digital circuits may be either a combinational or a sequential. So in the last session, we have discussed about how to design a combinational circuit. So, before going for the design procedure, first let us know what is meant by a sequential circuit, what is the importance of a sequential circuit, what are the basic sequential circuits. So, a sequential circuit is the one in which the output not only depends upon the present input but also on the previous input. So in order to store the previous output, we need to use a memory element. A sequential circuit consists of a combinational circuit followed by a memory element. So if a circuit consists of a memory element, then such a circuits are called as a sequential circuits. The examples for a sequential circuits are latches, flip-flops, registers, and counters. The basic element of a sequential circuit is latch or a flip-flop, in which in both the cases it is used in order to store a single bit of information. The basic difference between a latch and a flip-flop is the external triggering pulse which we are applying. So let us see what is the basic difference between latch and a flip-flop with respect towards the external triggering. So if we observe the waveforms of this, the first waveform is used whenever we are using a circuit as a latch. So in case of a latch, the output is changing whenever the input is at the positive level or negative level. But in this figure, we have shown only the positive level. So the dark lines of figure A represents it is a positive level. So here positive level represents whenever the wave is changing from 0 to 1. Similarly, a negative level represents whenever there is change from 1 to 0, the output is changing at the low level. In case of a latch, the output changes whenever there is a change in the corresponding level of triggering. Coming to the B and C figures, it represents edge triggering. Means the output is not going to change for complete on or complete off period. Instead, the output will be changing either when the wave is moving from low to high or high to low. So if we compare the latch and a flip-flop, in case of a latch, the output is changing for a long time because of level triggering. But whereas in case of a flip-flop, as it is a edge triggering, the output changes only at an instant of time whenever the clock is changing either low to high or high to low. And the latch and flip-flop both are bistable elements. So here bistable itself indicates it consists of two stable states. Those two stable states are nothing but 0 or 1. If we are connecting two NAND gates or two NOR gates cross coupled to each other, then such a circuit is called as latch or a flip-flop. If we are giving the input as enable, which is level triggered, it is a latch. If we are giving external input as a clock, which is edge trigger, then the corresponding is a flip-flop. So let us go for the different types of flip-flops. So basically there are four types of flip-flops. One is SR flip-flop, JK flip-flop, T flip-flop and D flip-flop. So let us start the detailed description of an SR flip-flop. So in case of an SR flip-flop or an SR latch, it consists of two NAND gates or two NOR gates cross-coupled to each other. So the second part of the circuit, that is two NAND gates outputs are given to the inputs, are nothing but called as a latch. Along with this, we are adding two more NAND gates which becomes it as a flip-flop. So in this, in order to understand the working principle of an SR flip-flop, we need to assume what are the S and R values. As we know that in a sequential circuit, the output not only depends upon the present input, it also depends upon the previous output. So in this case, we need to assume that the previous value of Q may be either 0 or 1. So if the previous value of Q is equivalent to 0, the same 0 is transferred towards the third gate of a NAND gate. So if at least one of the input is 0 for the NAND gate, the output will depends upon the next input. So depending upon the R value of the input, the output is going to be changed. So if we apply the concept of assuming the previous value as 0, 1s as well as previous value as 1s, we can able to write down the functional table or a truth table or a characteristic table of a flip-flop. So I am telling you the functional table of an SR flip-flop. So here C represents a clock. Here we are assuming it as positive edge clock. So whenever clock is 1, then only the circuit is going to be function. When both S and R inputs are 0, 0 and clock is equivalent to 1, the output of S and output of R is equivalent to 1, 1. And let me assume that previous output Q is equivalent to 0. So for the fourth gate, the output Q is equivalent to 0 and R is equivalent to 1. So Q bar is equivalent to 1. If Q bar equal to 1, S is equivalent to 1, Q is equivalent to 0. So if we see this concept, previously I have assumed the Q value is equivalent to 0. The next value is also Q value is equivalent to 0. Means whatever the previous value is there, it is retaining in the same position. That is the reason in the functional table I have written when S is equivalent to 0, R is equivalent to 0, whatever the previous value we are taking, we are getting the same value. Such a state is called as no change state. Similarly, if we take the second condition when S is equivalent to 0 and R is equivalent to 1. If S is equivalent to 0 and clock is equivalent to 1, the output of the first NAND gate will be is equivalent to 1. And the Q bar, let assume Q is equivalent to 0. So if Q equal to 0, Q bar will be equal to 1. S is 1, Q bar is 1. So the output Q is equivalent to 0. So that itself represents when S is equivalent to 0, R is equivalent to 1, whatever may be the previous value, the output will be retained in the same state, which is nothing but called as a reset state. So here reset represents whatever may be the previous value, output always is equivalent to 0. So here S represents set and R represents a reset. When R equal to 1, S equal to 0, such a state is called as a reset state, making the corresponding output is equivalent to 0. Similarly, the next condition is when S is equivalent to 1 and R is equivalent to 0. As the name itself indicates, when S is equivalent to 1, which is nothing but a set state, irrespective of the previous output, the output is always in the state 1. When S and R both are 1 and clock is equivalent to 1, the output of the first NAND gate as well as the output of the second NAND gate will be equal to 0. If both inputs are 0, 0, if Q is 0, the fourth gate 0, 0 will give you the output Q bar is equivalent to 1. 1 followed by 0 will give you the output is equivalent to 0, which is nothing but whenever we are performing an operation, we need to observe one thing in such a way that always Q should be complement towards the Q bar. But if we are taking the last condition that when S is equivalent to 1 and R is equivalent to 1, we are not getting Q and Q bar as complement. Instead, we are getting the same value. Such a value is not a correct one, which is called as an invalid condition or indeterminate condition. So from this we can say that when S and R are 0 0, such a state is called as no change state. When S is 0 and R is 1, a reset. When S is 1, R is 0, it is set. When both are 1, it is called as an indeterminate state. So the first represents a characteristic table or a functional table of SR flip-flop. Similarly, we need to, in order to write down the characteristic equation, we need to elaborate the characteristic table in such a way that we need to assume the inputs as S, R and Qn. So here Qn is nothing but a previous value of the output. So if there are 3 variables, we'll be getting 8 different combinations 0 to 7. So for the first two, S and R values are 0 0. As we see in that S and R are 0 0, output is equivalent to previous state. So if previous output is 0, present is also 0. If previous is 1, present will be 1. Similarly, we need to complete the complete table of a SR flip-flop. Then we need to draw the K-map. The inputs for the K-map should be S, R and Qn. If we simplify the K-map, we'll be getting an equation. Such an equation is called as a characteristic equation. So the characteristic equation of an SR flip-flop is S plus R bar Qn. And coming to the third table, which is nothing but called as an excitation table, which is used in order to convert one flip-flop to the other flip-flop. So in order to understand the excitation table, we need to first write down the complete characteristic table with 8 rows in such a way that by comparing the output values, we need to write down the variables of S and R. The next type of flip-flop is a D flip-flop. What is the reason why we are going for a D flip-flop is, in case of an SR flip-flop, when both the inputs are is equivalent to 1 and 1, it is an indeterminate state. So in order to avoid that, we are using a D flip-flop. If we see the logic diagram of a D flip-flop, it is similar to that of the SR flip-flop. The only change is, instead of S, we are replacing with D, and the same S is given through an inverter to the R. So here S and R, instead of S we are giving D, instead of R we are giving it as D bar. So from this we can conclude that we cannot get both the inputs as same, because S and R bar, that is when S is 0, will be getting D equal to 0 and R will be equivalent to 1. So as both are complement to each other, it is having only one state, whether it may be 0 or 1. If D is equivalent to 0 and clock is equivalent to 1, output of D flip-flop is equivalent to 1. So here whatever the input which we are giving, we are getting the same output. That is the reason D flip-flop is also called as delay flip-flop or a transparent flip-flop. So the modified form of SR flip-flop through a NOT gate to the R is called as a D flip-flop. And basically these D flip-flops are used in order to design a registers. Because in case of a registers, it is used in order to store a bit of information. If we want to store 4 bits of information, we need to use 4 D flip-flops. So among all the D flip-flops, only D flip-flop will give output is equivalent to input. That is the reason D flip-flops are called as transparent flip-flops or delay flip-flops, which are basically used in the designing of registers. The next type of flip-flop is JK flip-flop. In case of a JK flip-flop, we are using a same SR flip-flop, but And the last part of the circuit, we are giving feedback, that is output is feeding back towards the input. And the structure of this JK flip-flop is similar to that of the SR flip-flop except the feedback path. And here J is similar to S and K is similar to R. So if we observe the truth table, the first 6 rows will be the same. Instead of S, we are replacing with J. Instead of K, instead of R, we are replacing with K. So when both J and K are is equivalent to 0, 0, as we have seen in the SR flip-flop, output is equivalent to previous value. If Qn is 0, Qn plus 1 is also 0. If Qn is 1, Qn plus 1 is equivalent to 1. If J is 0, K equal to 1 means S is 0, R is 1. So it is a reset state. Whatever may be the value of Qn, whether it may be 0 or 1, the output will always be in the reset state, which is equivalent to 0, 0. If it is 1, 0, which is nothing but a set state, the irrespective of the previous value, the output will be in a 1, 1. There will be change in the last two cases when J and K are equal to 1. In case of an SR flip-flop, it is an invalid or an indeterminate state, but because of a feedback path, the output is continuously changing between the 0 and 1. Such a condition is called as a toggle condition. So, from this truth table, if you observe here, we have drawn a K-map in which the inputs are J, K and Qn. So, if we observe the Qn plus 1 column, we are having ones at the input of 1, 4, 5 and 6. So, I am representing ones in the minterms of 1, 4 and 5 and 6. So, 1 and 5 are adjacent, 4 and 6 are adjacent. So, if we combine those adjacencies and representing in a simplified manner, we'll be getting a characteristic equation of a JK flip-flop, which is equivalent to JQn bar plus K bar Qn. All these characteristic equations are used in case of designing of a sequential circuits as well as analysis of a sequential circuit. So we need to remember all these characteristic equations of the flip-flops. And in order to avoid this toggling condition, that toggling condition is called as a race around condition, which can be avoided by using a master slave JK flip-flop. So in case of a master slave JK flip-flop, we'll be representing two JK flip-flops. For the first JK flip-flop, we are connecting directly a clock. But for the second JK flip-flops, the same clock is connected through the NOT gate. So at a time, either the first circuit will be in the functioning or second circuit will be in the functioning. When clock is equivalent to 1, master is going to be worked out. When clock is equivalent to 0, slave is going to be worked out. So in this way, we can avoid the race around condition of a JK flip-flop. The last type of the flip-flop is a T flip-flop, which is called as a toggle flip-flop. So the modified version of a JK flip-flop is called as a T flip-flop, in which G and K are shorted and you are giving a single input, which is nothing but T. So when both J and K are equal to 0, 0, whatever the previous value we are having, will be getting a same value. So we are writing the same thing. If T is equivalent to 0, that is if J and K are zeros, represents T is 0. So no change. Whatever the previous value we are getting, will be getting the same value. When JK is equivalent to 1, itself represents T equal to 1. When JK are 1, 1, we'll be getting a toggle state, which is nothing but complement of the previous state. So when T equal to 1, we'll be getting a complement value of the previous value. So the first, that is transition table. When T, Q both are zeros, output is 0. Of 0, 1, it is 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. It represents, if we remember, in case of an XOR gate, if at least one of the input is 1, or if there are odd number of ones at the input, we'll be getting output equal to 1. So we can say that the transition table of a T flip-flop is equivalent to truth table of an XOR gate. Similarly, in order to write down the excitation table, I'll explain you here. In case of an excitation table, first we need to write down QT and qt plus 1. If there are two variables, we'll be getting four different combinations, that is 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So we need to observe the same combinations in the transition table. So in the transition table, if we observe, the first row represents q is 0, qt plus 1 is also 0. If both are 0, t equal to 0. Similarly, the next combination is qt is 0, qt plus 1 is 1. So qt is 0, qt plus 1 is 1 for second row, for which t equal to 1. So if we observe that the transition table of a T flip-flop is equivalent to excitation table of a T flip-flop. This is to how to write down a transition table as well as excitation table of a flip-flop. So in this, I'm going to give you a brief description of a summaries of a flip-flop. Example, I'm taking only two flip-flops. One is S and the other one is R. So the first represents SR flip-flop, as here a negative clock bubble at the clock represents it is a negative edge clock. As we have seen that in case of an SR flip-flop, the inputs are S, R and the previous value is Q. So if both S and R are 0, 0, whatever the previous value which we are having will be getting, the next state is also same. Coming to the third row, S is 0, R is 1. Whatever may be the Q value, whether it may be 0 or 1, we are getting an output as a reset state 0, 0. If it is 1, 0, S is 1 represents set, that is 1, 1. If both are 1s, indeterminate state, that is an invalid state. Similarly, we are writing a JK flip-flop truth table. The only difference is there will be a change in the last two rows. The SR flip-flop will be getting an indeterminate state, but whereas in case of an JK flip-flop will be getting a toggling state. From this, we are drawing a state diagram of an SR flip-flop. So here we are assuming that one time Q is equivalent to 0, other time Q is equivalent to 1. So if Q is equivalent to 0, so we are getting zeros when both S and R are 0, 0 or S and R are 0, 1. So from the truth table we are drawing a state diagram, and see the last column as a excitation table. Now first write down the excitation table values as Qn and Qn plus 1, as it is input 0, 0. Now observe where you are having 0, 0s at Qn and Qn next. So if we observe that in the truth table we are having first row as 0, 0. Similarly, third row as 0, 0. The corresponding inputs for those two are 0, 0, 0, 1. So S is 0, which is having a single variable, but R one time it is having 0 and the other time it is having 1. That is the reason we are writing S is 0 and R is don't care. Similarly, the next combination is 0, 1. We are having 0, 1 only for one time, that is S is equivalent to 1 and R is equivalent to 0. If we are having twice, then only we need to compare the values of those inputs, and wherever there is change in the corresponding input, keep a cross mark. This is the way how to write down an excitation table from the characteristic table, whether it may be an SR flip-flop, JK flip-flop, T flip-flop or a D flip-flop. And these are the characteristic equations of all the flip-flops. The characteristic equation of a D flip-flop is Q of T plus 1 or Qn plus 1 is equivalent to D. Means whatever the input which you are giving, you will be getting the same output, but after some instant of time. That is the reason it is called as delay flip-flop or a transparent flip-flop. Coming to the next type of flip-flop is JK flip-flop. The characteristic equation is JQ bar plus K bar Q. And the characteristic equation for the T flip-flop is T XOR with Q or T bar Q plus T Q bar. Similarly, the last type of the flip-flop is SR flip-flop, in which Q of T plus 1 equal to S plus R bar Qn. So by using these characteristic equations only, we are able to design and analyze the sequential circuits. So we'll deal these topics in the next session. Thank you.